I think one day somebody will have to come up with the idea of who's to blame for all the expectations that ended up not coming true for the Xbox Series X. Not that it isn't a fine console, but the fact of the matter is it's a console that realistically has very much under-delivered on what was promised, and especially the way that it would perform in regards to the PlayStation 5. We heard that it was going to completely destroy, obliterate, it was going to really just dominate what Sony had going on. 12 teraflops versus 10 teraflops, or whatever they were saying, variables, etc., etc. Again, who's to blame for that, right? Is it YouTubers? Is it Microsoft themselves? I brought this question up numerous times, and nobody really seems to have an answer. Honestly, there's just such this situation where, who is to blame? Maybe were our expectations too high? For all the stuff that we heard from various YouTubers, the dealers and the dolts and the D-batches and all these people, the way I understood it was we were getting this console that was going to absolutely blow everything else away, right? It was going to literally blow everything away. And the fact of the matter is, it was going to be demonstrable differences. And Microsoft said that too, right? You had people out there saying there was going to be a 30, 40 frame, 50 frame difference, and better ray tracing, and better this and better that. And here we are, literally almost a year into the generation, and that hasn't really happened. And here, I want to be clear. I'm not saying that the Xbox Series X hasn't had any advantages or hasn't won any face-offs or anything like that in terms of resolution and stuff like that. I think that it has, by the pixels, a few pixels here, a few pixels there. I think that it has won some of these, and and that's commendable, but it wins them by a few pixels, and then turns out that they have to lower the pixel count on Xbox because the performance was better on PS5, and they try to match performance on PS5. So it ends up being for naught anyway. And so you have this console that's allegedly so much less powerful, so weak, I'm surprised Sony even put up a fight. Why bother putting it out something if it's so weak and can't even stand up against the mighty Xbox Series X? And then and then you have these instances where these games come out and the performance is just better on PlayStation still, a year and almost into the generation. So yeah, I find this to be very funny, and the latest bit has Xbox fans on edge. I want to talk about it. What's up, everybody? Crapgamer here with Crapgamer Reviews. Slap that like button. It's me, Crap Gaming. Slap that like button. Why don't you do me a solid and slap that like button? It's going to be great. It's going to be awesome. You gotta slap it for me, Crap Gaming. Okay, let's go. So anyway, the newest one is the update for Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. The PlayStation 5 version performs out better than the Xbox Series X. There is a free next-gen upgrade for Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order. It launched earlier this month, and there are a few differences between the console version. Thanks to performance analysis on Digital Foundry, we can now see exactly how well the next-gen upgrade performs on the PlayStation 5 as well as the Xbox Series X. The game's publisher, EA, promised several improvements to the game following the upgrade, including high-resolution texture and assets, 4K HDR resolution, improved 60 frames per second performance, and slightly faster load times, which, as we can see from the Digital Foundry video, EA did deliver, however, with a few exceptions. Now we're going to deep dive into this and talk about it. In the video, Digital Foundry highlights the differences between the game on both consoles, from frame rates, visual upgrades, and performance testing. As it turns out, the PS5 was actually the console that benefited the most from the new update, as according to Digital Foundry, and I quote, "The latest update perhaps has the biggest impact on PlayStation 5, though all consoles benefit. The PlayStation 5 version of Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order can run at a solid 60 frames per second. However, this does occasionally drop to just below during demanding cutscenes and gameplay. The load times on PS5, however, have halved when compared to the PS4 version of the game, when running on PlayStation 5, going from an average of 32 seconds down to just 16 seconds. Now, as for the visual improvements themselves, it's very subtle. However, you can see an improvement in some textures, specifically gravel, floor textures, and some shadows. As for the Xbox Series X and S version of the game, it maintains a pretty similar improvement when compared to the PlayStation 5. However, it suffered more noticeable hitches during some transitions, causing the frame rate to drop from 60 to just 50 frames per second. It also had an extremely close load time test result of 17 seconds, just 1 second more than the PS5, and received pretty much the same visual improvements to it too. Now that Jedi Fallen Order has officially made its way to next-gen consoles, the game's already impressive 20 million player count can continue to grow. So we continue to see, you know, the game looks good, it continues getting these updates, it continues doing well, but at the same time, we continue to see these situations with these, you know, the platforms where there's these updates and things like that. And again, the Xbox Series X is just kind of coming up a little bit short of what's going on. You know, I think that that's going to be the big problem going forward, just in my opinion anyway, is the fact that, you know, we keep seeing these things happen and people keep saying the tools are coming in. It's gotten to be almost kind of a joke at this point about tools. And, you know, I'm not saying that the SDKs and stuff will never be updated. I just think that, you know, we're living a situation where, you know, gamers just have to maybe admit, and some of these pundits and some of these people just have to come out and admit that, hey, you know, the PlayStation 5 is a damn good console. And, you know, and who's to blame? Is it, you know, the development team behind the Xbox? Is it, you know, again, is it the YouTubers, the analysis, the, you know, the, who is to blame? Is it Xbox? Like, somebody clue me in, right? Like, this thing should be crushing. Anytime it's close or barely just a couple pixel difference or whatever, that's a loss for Microsoft. I mean, these things shouldn't be close at all. They should be so good. Like, okay, I'll give you an example. I bought Mass Effect on the Xbox, right? The Mass Effect trilogy. Now, there is no current gen. There's no PlayStation 5 or Xbox Series X native version of this. Only last gen. Xbox One, PS4. So I bought the Xbox One version because it allows me to play at 120 frames. Over the 60 frames on the PlayStation 5. Now, the interesting thing here is, right, why, like that would be an instance where it would be such a difference where people would have to go, oh, well, I'm going to get the Xbox version. Like, we have not seen that at all in terms of current gen games, and we probably never will because they're so close in power and things like that. So, who's to blame for this? Where's the blame lie? Do gamers really kind of, you know, think that it's all right after all the hype and all that? Like, that to me, it doesn't make a whole hell of a lot of sense. I would just like to know, where does the blame lie with this, right? Microsoft Phil? Is it, you know, is it people like Dealer and Colt? Is it, you know, people that hyped up this stuff to be the most amazing platform ever, and it's not really that? You know, I would love to see how this plays out and exactly what everybody thinks about this, because so far we just keep seeing, you know, it play out exactly the same. Performance is better on PlayStation 5, or it's close, and Xbox fanboys kind of attack Digital Foundry or whoever's doing the, you know, whoever's out there doing the comparison videos. So, yeah, I think that, you know, it's very interesting to say the least, and, you know, it's just funny to see how all this stuff comes about, you know. Like, for me personally, it's hilarious, and I love seeing it, because people get so wrong. You know, it's like, it's super wrong when we see this kind of stuff. So, you know, again, love seeing it, love seeing the reactions and like the like, listen, no matter what, it's just fanboy reactions, right? Fanboy reactions, and, you know, and I think that that's exactly what happens in the long run, is people get upset and we keep seeing this kind of stuff happen. Like, for me personally, I think it's funny. I don't look at it as, you know, this ultimate be-all, end-all type situation. I just think it's kind of funny because so many people put so much effort into claiming that the that the Xbox was just going to destroy and crush and all this kind of stuff, and it didn't happen. So, what's your guys' thoughts and opinions on this? Please let me know down below, or on Twitter, on Xbox, or PlayStation, either or. I love hearing from you guys. Rebuilding takes time, but we're getting there. And I really do appreciate it. Thank you guys so much for rocking out with me. Have a fantastic day. Rack 'em up. Crapgamer out.